Yo, peace, guys. Peace, love, light, and healing. Welcome back. And cheers, my brother. How's it?
Yeah, man. It's always good to be alive.
Lovely, man. Lovely. Please, guys, please subscribe. Yo, guys, we need your subscriptions. We need you guys, and we love you.
Likes, bro.
And those likes, oh yes. And please share the video.
And dislikes as well.
Yeah, it's fine. You see, look, man, I get excited when I see how many dislikes were there. Because then I know that I'm provoking something, Yabon. I know I'm provoking something. I really do, actually. Obviously, it's overwhelmingly likes. On average, we've got about 95% of likes. Most videos are 100% likes, but we do have about 95%. Even the Julius Malema video, which is going to about 20k views now, 95% of the people liked the video, and there's about close to 200 reactions. Man, let's talk about DJ Sbu again, the Grotman, man. You see, I love talking about him. Look, guys, I'm not here to be praising people. Nah, I'm an independent thinker, right? If I talk about Penwell in a video, and another video I criticize him, trust me, that's me. I don't have to praise him all the time. So if I criticize DJ Sbu in the next video, it is what it is, you know. You don't have to like it, you don't have to watch it. But all I would love and appreciate anything that's good that people are doing, right? And that's why I like DJ Sbu. I've seen his work ethic, and I love how he cares about young people. So DJ Sbu is now working with the authority, NOTA, the authority, but I will call him NOTA the cloud, because he said it himself that he is the cloud. And I think there's evidence to prove that. There's evidence to support that. It's not just empty words from an empty vessel. He has evidence. You know, whenever NOTA is mentioned, there's clout around that. But he's officially working with NOTA, NOTA and DJ Sbu. And I think in one of the videos, they were talking about the music industry, you know, how to start get into the music business, which I think is very important, because all we see, Tina, is just the finished product. We don't know how much work goes into, you know, making music. But beyond that, I want to touch on how I've seen DJ Sbu, and it's now rubbing off onto NOTA, working with younger people. Let's start on the ground, man. I appreciate DJ Sbu's work on More Fire, particularly, because I've seen it caucus, I've seen it in the townships, Elokshin. How many young black men, who would have otherwise gone hungry or maybe resorted to crime, robbing and theft, had they not had the option to sell More Fire by the robots. They choose to sell More Fire so that they can feed their families. They choose to sell More Fire so that they can, you know, have capital to start their businesses. And that's a huge thanks to DJ Sbu and his partners and his entire team on allowing that opportunity for a lot of young black people, young black men particularly, and young black women as well, but particularly young black men. I haven't seen a young white male who sells More Fire by the traffic lights, so I'm not going to touch on that. For me, that's a huge thanks, because that's one less criminal added to the crime statistics in South Africa. That guy now is now able to feed his child. He's now able to be a present father to his kid. He's able to buy some bread at home. He's able to travel to wherever he's going to pitch his business idea. And all thanks to DJ Sbu and the team. But not just that, man. I've seen DJ Sbu take care of the younger guys, children of celebrities, children of like guys like Brown Dash and all that, including Robot Boy. You know, I've seen DJ Sbu having a good relationship with Robot Boy. And Robot Boy is a beautiful phenomenon in this country. And it touches on a subject that I once mentioned, the subject of continuity. Remember when we spoke about marriage, my brother, how I did emphasize the importance of continuity. And I appreciate Penwell, the Black Pen, of mentioning this on his videos about succession. Penwell, the Black Pen, talked about succession plans, which us as black people in this modern age, we don't have that. Back in the day, man, there was succession, you know, before westernization. And elder Credo Mutwa became Isanusi because his forefathers were Sanusis and Sangomas. So it was like a type of succession plan. Traditionally, there's always been succession plans. If you come from a family of Amatolo or Amazingeli, the hunters, you will learn that skill of hunting. If you come from a family of musicians, abantu abadlala umkhube, uhadi, istolotolo, you will learn those instruments. If you come from a family of artisans, you know, ingcibi, people who used to work with stones, ingcibi yamatshe, ingcibi yamanzi, you know, water engineers back in the day, you were going to learn that art, you were going to learn that skill, you were going to learn that science. That was succession back in the day. And then colonization came, apartheid came, completely destroyed that. So now we have to invoke a new way of succession. Just like our culture, man. We used to have a culture before, came colonization, apartheid, destroyed it. Now we have to come up with a new culture using the principles of the old. So the story of Robot Boy and Tata or Baba Mzwakhe Mbuli, who was a well-known, or is a well-known praise poet or poet in this country, even especially during the apartheid days. Mzwakhe Mbuli was the national poet. Everyone knew about him, you see. Even after Tata Nelson Mandela's passing, Baba Zwakhe Mbuli came and made a nice song together with Zahara, the talented Zahara, and he praised Mandela, you know. He made a nice poem on a national scale, on a global scale, on a worldwide scale. And that's Baba Zwakhe Mbuli. For his time, that's what was needed. We needed an activism that was delivered the way it was delivered. And that's why it worked. Now look at the Robot Boy. His father was a poet during apartheid. Robot Boy, if you look at his musical career, he doesn't sing. He's not a vocalist. He might have vocal talent, but he doesn't sing. He does a kind of poetry that has morphed into this type of hip-hop and amapiano. So it's poetry, hip-hop, amapiano, all merged together. And it's a development from his father. He inherited it, whether consciously or subconsciously, but he did inherit, because we know his father is the national poet. So you see, that's the beauty of succession. And now, because of the social capital and probably the financial capital of his father, and how much his father's involvement in the music industry helped him, he has been able to get out there and put his talent out there. And DJ Sbu was involved in that. Not just DJ Sbu, there are many other artists who did an amazing job at nurturing that talent. But for me, that's a beautiful example of how taking care of the younger people by men like DJ Sbu is fruitful. Look at Robot Boy now. Robot Boy is special, man. Like, if you pay attention to how he delivers his work, it's nothing that nobody has seen before. We are familiar with it. He's talking in his videos. He's talking in his songs. But it's beautiful. There's this song, man. Robot. You see, it's like a development and advancement from what his father used to do. He used to talk and provoke. So now that can be used as well in the modern day, in the modern context, to deliver a certain message. And that's what we should be looking towards. So that's one beautiful example of how taking care of the young leads to fruitful, results. And Robot Boy can do the same for other younger people now, whether they're dancers or not. You see, so it's beautiful to do that. And this is what other races have gotten right. And I think that's where people like people like Benwell the Black Pen, that's where they come from when they start saying the Jews do this, the Muslims do this, but we also do it. We just need to awaken it, because we've already done that. We are some of the most ancient people on earth, man. There's nothing that other cultures are doing that we haven't done before. We just have to awaken it for our own context. You can't tell me about Jews and Muslims. Tell me about my people. How did we do it? We can learn from the Jews. We can learn from the Muslims. We can learn from the Afrikaners. We can learn from everyone. We can learn from them. It's not a problem. But how do we do it for our own people? And DJ Sbu is doing it, nurturing young talent. Ricky Rick showed us with Uncle Vinny, man. You see, before Ricky Rick passed away, he showed us with Uncle Vinny, you have to take care of young talent. And this is not just for entertainment purposes. Even in finance, man, you're a chartered financial analyst. There's a new financial intern in the company. Our people need to start the whole thing of mentoring. You have to mentor. You have to develop that guy. He could be your protege. You see, he could be your protege. He could replace you and do even more amazing work. Look at that. You see Obama. I don't even like him a bit. Trust me, I don't like him. I'm just talking about how he got inspired by Nelson Mandela. You see, he was inspired by Mandela and it trickled down onto him. Not to say that's why he became president. We know that is related to the other presidents. It's just the same thing, control and manipulation. But my point is, you can see the results when young people are nurtured and taken care of. You see that continuity. And there's more now likelihood of improvement because it's generational knowledge. You see, look at me, man. I'm telling stories right now. I come from an ancestry of Amamfene. the people known in Lesotho as Batsweneng Bakhiba, Matedza, Mapetla, Kolisotho. You see, I know my ancestors were involved in making weapons. I know my ancestors were involved in mining gold and precious stones. But I also do know my ancestors were involved in rainmaking and all those traditional things. I know they had a lot of noble families. It's written history. If you go to read Ityala Lamawelo, you will see a lot of groups of Amamfene who were prophets and seers. A lot of them who were noble families like Inganga, you know, people who were actually Injinga, rich people. I come from that bloodline. So when I'm here, I have thousands of years worth of DNA, of nobility, of knowledge sharing, of, you know, science. These are my ancestors.
It's daddy speaking.
Exactly. They're literally in my DNA. And that's why I'm saying people like Penwell and Vusitembewayo need to be careful when they start, the Jews do this and the Muslims do this. Okay, we understand that. But what did our people do? Starting with the people of Kwamlotho. What did the Mlotshwa people do? Because that's the only way, my brother, you can invoke what's within you. The DNA is already stored. It's like potential energy. This potential energy is vibrating. It's waiting for you to open it. And then you become. You don't just point out now that these groups of people do like this. The Russians, they are self-sufficient. The Germans, they are so good at this. It's true. What about you? So I had to go back and do research on my ancestors until I realized, so I've had some amazing ancestors, from noble families, from kings, from chiefs. I even know their names, brother. You see there between Lesotho and Cape Town, there's Lesotho and Eastern Cape, there's a place called Herschel. There's a stone there, Lifika Labo Khiba. You see, Ilikel Gachiba, Imbogoto Gachiba. Khiba was one of my ancestors. He led the Amamfene from Tukela, the banks of Tukela River, all the way through Free State, all to Lesotho and the Eastern Cape. He led my ancestors there. So when I understand that, wow, you know, I come from this bloodline, and I know about Umhlakaza, the men who gave birth to prophets, or even false prophets or not. I come from this bloodline as well, and I study my bloodline of my mother. We come from the people who are of the stars. Amanzoto, Amanyelens. Nyelens mean a star, and Zoto is a star. So you start to understand, that's why I'm so keen to learn about cosmology. That's why I'm so keen to learn about history and languages. That's why I'm so keen to learn about, you know, weaponry and the war, the art of war. Because my ancestors used to make these weapons. It's important to know these things, man. Because it's already, this is stored data. It's stored. It's in the DNA. It's in the genetic material. It's data. It's literally there inside of you. When you learn about it, you open yourself up to this and you start to bring things to life that you didn't know that you could bring. So you cannot downplay the importance of learning your history. Robert Boy's father is Robert Boy's history. That guy was a poet. He has all that knowledge in his DNA, man. All that knowledge, all that data, he transferred it to Robert Boy and coached him in the process. Robert Boy will transfer that to his children and to his children. So that's generational mastery now. That's why you can take black people out of Africa and send them to America. They'll still do the exact same thing that we do here. I shared some videos about black Americans dancing, and you can take this video of a black American dancing to a tribe in Africa. It's the exact same dance. They just don't know it. Did you see those videos? I saw you laughing there.
Yeah.
I shared about 3 videos. Because that's what I'm talking about, genetic data. But then we have a privilege now. We have written records. We have cultural, linguistic evidence that, our people used to do this. And that's why continuity is important. Succession is important. It's not just simple as saying, it's my inheritance, it's my legacy. Keep it going. No! It's necessary. Succession is necessary because when that child will try to be something that he's not, it's going to be in conflict with his blood, with his DNA, with his subconscious mind. But when that child taps into what his forefathers have always been, then he can use it for his context. And Robert Boy is one classical example. Uncle Vinny, he came, changed the scene. You see these little kids, Pabi Kuba, in Amapiano, Kabza the Small, DJ Maporis. These guys struggled before they found that one thing that they needed to find. They struggled because maybe they were looking at the wrong place. Maybe they were looking at the wrong place until they realized, no, man, the piano, sound, frequency. Maybe his ancestors used to play the drum during war. You know, in Venda mythology, not even mythology, in Venda history, there's a drum that they used to play. Ngoma ya Lugundu, the drum that thunders. During war, they would tell you that once that drum is beaten, once you hit that drum, the vibrations that come up would literally paralyze the enemy. Some people may say, no, that's mythology. We don't know, but we're not there. But the point is, that drum had so much power because it emits frequencies. Maybe he comes at a small, maybe Maporsa come from a bloodline of people who were involved in the musical arts of our people. And the moment they got involved in that, I promise you, once they start researching, they'll realize it. The moment they got involved, it clicked with them. Now they can do everything else they want to do because they've already opened doors with this. You see, that's what I'm saying, that you can't abandon your history. Because succession is about moving to the next generation. But before you move to the next generation, you have to know where you come from. And that's what DJ Sbu does. He did all the work, man. He did all the hard work. He takes Robot Boy together with other celebrities.
Wouldn't you say now DJ Sbu is not as rich as he was back in the days? He's actually getting poorer.
What the hell are you talking about, man?
Or maybe you would say he's getting richer.
Dude, the guy has been getting deals with the major distributors in South Africa, the major retailers in South Africa, and you tell him he's not getting rich. You don't just get to sell your stuff at Pick and Pay or at Engine Garage.
I'm not saying he's not getting rich, but isn't he maybe he was richer before?
Nah, I wouldn't say that, man. That wouldn't make sense. Remember, he was an artist before, right? Well, he's always been a business person, man. This guy has always been a business. Remember when he worked with TK Nziza in TS Records? He was younger then. He has always been a business person. What happened is that he lived a lavish life back then. He lived a lavish life because he only saw what was in front of him. So you could say, oh, he was rich. No, he lived a lavish life until he had to learn the hard way that you have to build for long-term purposes. So he's been building now. I'm not saying he's richer, but to me, it does seem like he is richer. I wouldn't speak on that until I see records, you see. But that's not my concern. My concern is that he's worked towards owning things now. He's building things. He's not depending on someone's resources. He's building his own things with either, whether it's the online platforms, Massive Metro Radio, Crypto University, Leadership 2020. You see, he's building his own platforms. For me, that's wealth, my brother. That's wealth because when you are being evaluated, when we evaluate your wealth, we're not going to look at how many record labels you've sold. We're going to look at what you have. If we were to liquidate everything, what do you have? And pay off your debt, what do you have left? So he had to downgrade his lifestyle. Very good for him because that's how then you clarify your mind and your thoughts. You see? And I think he can afford himself and his kids and his parents or whoever is left in his family. He can afford that. And for me, that's good enough. I don't know if he has $1 billion or he has $1 trillion. And I don't care about that. I care about what he does. And what he does is beautiful, my brother. And I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm sure he has upsetted a lot of people. I'm sure he has wronged a lot of people, like every one of us. You've wronged people. I've wronged people. Anyone has wronged people. No one is perfect here on earth. But I love what he does with younger people. And I'm not going to change that. Until I have another data, if I have data proving that this guy is actually taking advantage of young people, then I will come for him. For now, based on what I see, I think it's a good thing that the Grootman does, man. And even his team, man, it's younger people there in his team. He doesn't have old people. He's got young people because the plan is to make sure succession goes on. Look at Brenda Fassie, man. Brenda Fassie and his son Bongani, ne? I mean, Bongani is talented, but I don't know where he is, man. I don't know if he's still involved in the music industry. I'm not saying he has to be. No. If he's happy where he is, it's fine. But he could have used that platform that his mother created. We don't know the full story, so I don't want to delve into it. But succession is so important. Ricky Rick left us with Uncle Vinny, man. You see, he left us with Uncle Vinny. Now there's an Uncle Vinny that we can even pour into even more. And he can do that to other kids as well. And it's a ripple effect, and it goes on for generations. What you end up having is a group of black people in South Africa who have a shared culture, because currently we don't have a shared culture. We just have a shared experience with apartheid. And even then, we still have some of our people think that apartheid was better. Fools. But I'm not going to get into that either. But what you will have that in the next 50 years, if we keep on doing this thing and spreading this positivity, you'll have a group of young people who have a healthy state of mind, who know about nurturing, and they will do the same to others and others. Even if it's not everyone who does it, but if it's enough people who do it, what you will realize is that in a few years to come, black people will own their music. They'll own their dance because we are a cultural people. We are dancers, we are singers, we are philosophers. That's who we are. We are scientists, we are inventors. But then you have to learn about that before you can tap into it. And your first point of reference of learning is learning about yourself. Tap into yourself and realize, wow, I come from a history of musicians, a history of engineers, a history of scribes and artists, a history of accountants.
When do you actually realize that, like, when do you actually come to that point and say, I need to really learn about myself?
If you want to be free.
Because maybe some people, it has never came to their mind.
Yes, that's why I'm saying.
Go and research about these things.
That's why I'm saying it's not for everyone. I know it. It's going to be for a minority of people. That minority of people are the people who matter, because they're the people who will change things, and they will change them for everyone. So when you want change, you can't convince 60 million South Africans. A lot of South Africans don't give a damn about what happens in the next 20 years or 30 years. They just need food right now. They want alcohol right now. They want sex right now. They don't give a damn. They couldn't be bothered. That's why they are bought with a t-shirt and a hamper of food items. They don't give a damn. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about you. You want to see change? Let's talk about how we can see change. And it starts about learning about yourself, man. I'm sorry. If you don't know your own history as an individual, the history of your family, what your bloodline was known for, where your bloodline comes from, if you don't know that, you could go to the best schools, so-called best schools in the world. You could have all the money. You are nothing but a pathetic loser. Until you know who you are, you're not free. Know about self. Know about self, my brother. Know who your people are, where they come from. Then you really appreciate the beauty of life, because that's wealth from within. If you take me, look at those Germans, they are so good at what they do. What about you? What about you? The Germans know their history. They know the Ostrogoths and the Visigoths. They are Gothic gods, Alaric the First. Telling me about the English.
And we know them too.
And we know them telling me about the English. Look at the English Empire. They know about Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Dracul. They know about their kings. It's written, man. It's written down. They don't just know it. They teach it to us as well. The Bulgars and the Huns, all these cultures, the Vandals, the Franks, the Lombardis. These are European tribes. And I know the average person doesn't even know about them, but these people know who they are, man. The ancient kings of Europe, Latinus, leader of the Latin people. The Franks, Lombardis. Today you call them French people. You call that the region of Italy, the Lombardy region. These people know their history, man. And they teach it to us. They colonize our minds. We worship their gods every day. We call Sunday the day of the sun, which is their god. Day of the moon, Monday. Day of Tu, Tuesday. Day of Woden, Wednesday. The day of Thor, Thursday. The day of Freya, Friday. The day of Saturn, Saturday. Interesting. So you worship their gods. You use their names. We even use their language. That's how pathetic we are, man. But that's fine. There's an opportunity for growth because we can see this now. So you have to come back to yourself. Don't be ashamed of yourself. Learn about yourself, and it connects to succession. Your ancestors are waiting on you. Your forefathers are waiting on you to continue their legacy of self-definition, of self-dependence, of self-sufficiency. They were independent, man. Our forefathers were independent, my brother. They used to trade with the Chinese back in the day. They traded with the Moors, black Moors. Some of them were us. We were those Moors. They traded with Arabs. They traded with Indians for a very long time. Even with the Europeans, man, they traded with them. They were not subordinate to them. They were equals or even more.
Apparently, they say some Chinese were also black as well.
Yeah, no, a lot of Chinese were black. Indians are still there. The Jarawa tribes, in the Andaman Islands, you see black Indians.
But soon to be extinct.
Hey, man, it's so bad. People go there with viruses, man. Those people have been living a pure life. But my point is, man, you see, people like DJ Sbu, we may try and find dirt on them and all that. Let's give them credit for the goodness that they do. I appreciate you, Sbuda. I appreciate the Hustlers Corner. I appreciate all these individuals, man. Penuel, Vus, there's good things about these guys, you see. They can never be perfect, unfortunately, man. We have to take them with all their imperfections. But even more so now, DJ Sbu has started working with Nota, the authority. Nota, the cloud. There are some things that people say, Nota is this. They make him seem like a meme. The guy is not a meme. The guy is brilliant. He's not perfect, but he's brilliant. Nota in one video, remember when it was Pence and Mlotwa? Penwell's brother, and Penwell Mlotwa, and then DJ Sbu, and then Nota. They were speaking about the protest, Fees Must Fall protests, and I don't know the name of the protest, but it's the same protests, basically, financial exclusion and other types of exclusions in universities. They were speaking about them. And Penwell mentioned that he was one of the people who were at the forefront with AKA during the 2016 Fees Must Fall, I think, right? Nota, yes. He was there during the 2016 Fees Must Fall with AKA, because AKA had just passed at that time. So people were mentioning that AKA was there, and I know AKA was there. He was very vocal about his political stance, and I appreciate that about him. So some people might have thought that Nota was lying, man. You know what I did? I went online, I went to check, and I saw the evidence. I saw Nota there in the front line, literally in the front line. It was AKA, another dude, and Nota there. He still had hair back then, you see? And I'm like, wow, he's not always lying, my brother. Like this thing of people portraying Nota as this delusional liar who's always there in everything. It's wrong, man.
Yeah, whenever someone says something, he's always there.
But what if he was there, man? What if he was there, really? That's my point. Nota said that he went to this boutique school. I forgot the name. Sorry, man. I went and checked that boutique school. It's there for real. And he mentioned a psychological concept called lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is a thinking method that they were taught in this boutique school. I went and looked at lateral thinking, and it's there. And he mentioned the guy who developed lateral thinking, or at least the guy who named it. I went and checked that guy or a lady. It's there, man. I promise you, I didn't just jump on the ship that, this guy is delusional, he thinks he's special. No, I went and checked. And that's how you deal with people, man. There's no other way of ascertaining whether someone is lying or telling the truth unless you go and verify that they're telling the truth.
But has there been times when you couldn't verify the truth?
Yes, so I haven't been able to verify the first, his account being the first to be permanently suspended on Twitter. I haven't been able to verify that. I'm trying to verify that currently. But I didn't just immediately label him as a liar and delusional. I have no opinion on whether it's true or false. I'm busy trying to verify it right now. I did go and check though.
Remember how that came about? Because I think they were speaking about the shadow banning of people.
Yes.
And then he came and said, that was the first one that he said. You see? So
but we can't just say he can't say. What if he was the first one to be banned? What if he was, my brother? You can't just judge him based on that. Let's go and confirm it. For example, with the bull thing, né? I did say that I didn't believe that Nota did put a bull down. He went to the comment section and actually did say that it's not a bull, it's actually a cow. And he did say that he was going to clarify that point. You see, he didn't run away from it. I get it now, I didn't believe that a 12-year-old boy. And he did say, no, he was not 12, he was 11 in the comment section. So, on the Twitter suspension thing, I haven't been able to verify it. But I know he said that his account was the first to be suspended, even before Donald Trump. And I did read somewhere that the first permanent suspension started around 2015. So I just need to ascertain now, when was he suspended?
Why did it happen?
Why did it happen? How? And when was Donald Trump suspended as well? Then I can compare the timelines. But it's just interesting for me that people are so quick to label people as liars. Sometimes it may be a lie, sometimes it may be a truth. But we have to really just appreciate, man, all the package, the whole package. It comes as a whole package. So DJ Sbu started working with Nota. I saw in one of the videos they went to a prison to talk to the prison, to the offenders. That's what they are called. To the offenders, basically to the convicts, to the criminals who are there, or so-called criminals, but some of them are there through false accusations. They went and spoke to them, and I think that's a beautiful thing to do. A lot of those people there, man, they need to know that people care about them. I think that's a good thing, and I love people who love my people, man. That's it. I'm gonna be very honest about this. If you love my people, I will probably love you as well. I don't like people who think they are smart and they should be listened to purely because they can speak. If you think like that, you are a deluded fool. No one owes you anything here. You must show that you deserve to be listened to. Go and work for the people. Go and do something that's worthy of, adoration. Peace.